Hey everyone, this is Emmanuel from airtrain.ai. Today, Anthropic just released their new generation of Claude models, Claude 3. So we're gonna take a look at the announcement and then do a quick vibe check. Let's get going. So they released 3 new models under the Claude 3 model family, one called Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus. So those names refer to the size of a particular piece of text. A haiku is a small poem, a sonnet is a verse, and opus is usually a large book. So they scale linearly with intelligence. And so here are some benchmark results. The first striking thing is that Claude 3 Opus beats all other models on the market, even GPT-4. So this is the first model that beats GPT-4 on all the benchmarks like this. One interesting thing to note is that on some of those benchmarks, Claude uses a 0-shot method when GPT-4 uses a 5-shot method. So for example, here on Grade School Math, GSM 8K, the GPT-4 scores 82% with 5-shot approach, but Claude 3 scores 85% with 0 shots. So this is quite impressive. So it makes you wonder if the model is really that good or if there is some bias here because maybe some of the benchmark data was used in training. So this is still TBD, but those results are quite impressive. What's interesting to note is that even Claude 3 Sonnet, so the medium-size model, also beats GPT-4 on some of the benchmark with 0-shot approach. So even the medium-sized model beats GPT-4. So that's pretty impressive. Another thing to note is that Claude is usually known for its sort of extreme safety. So it will often refuse to execute certain prompts because of safety reasons. Sometimes it's a little overzealous and people complain about it. And so they corrected this behavior. And now you can see that the rate of prompt refusal is much lower than with Claude 2.1. So hopefully Claude will stop being overzealous and indulge in some of the prompts that its users are giving it. So developers will hide a piece of text in a very large context. So you can see here on the bottom the size of the context from 12,000 to 200,000. And then they will hide the piece of text at various positions in the text. So you can see here on the x-axis the position of the needle in the haystack, and then they measure how often is the model able to find this piece of information. And as you can see, it's almost perfect. Claude is almost able to retrieve this information regardless of the context length and regardless of the needle position. So that's pretty impressive. In terms of pricing, Claude 3 Opus is kind of on par with GPT-4. The output token is more expensive, so GPT-4 is $60 per million token. Here we have 75, but it's cheaper on the input side, where GPT-4 is $30 per million token. Here we have $15. So it's kind of on par depending on your application. I'm sure Sonnet is obviously much cheaper, and what's interesting is that, as we saw earlier, Sonnet is able to reach GPT-4 performance on some of the benchmarks, but is arguably much cheaper. And Haiku is obviously even cheaper. You can use Opus and Sonnet right now from their API. If you have an API key, it's also available on Google Cloud. So let's take a look at the model in the Anthropic workbench. So here I am. I'm going to use a number of prompts to test the model, my usual prompts. So I'm going to start with my favorite riddle. Very few models get this right. Usually only GPT-4 and Mistral Medium have gotten this correctly. So Julie is a girl. Julie has 3 brothers. Each brother has 2 sisters. How many sisters does Julie have? So let's see how Claude does here. So Julie's a girl. Julie has 3 brothers. Each of Julie's brothers has 2 sisters. Now let's think about this step by step. I mean, we're going to wait for the final answer. So Julie has only 1 sister, so this is correct. It's pretty impressive. Only GPT-4 and Mistral Medium have solved this riddle before. Let's have another riddle to give it a try. In this one, Mary has 4 daughters. Each of her daughters has 1 brother. How many children does Mary have? It's pretty easy for us humans to figure out. Let's see if the model gets it right. Once again, the model is organizing information and then thinking step by step. It looks like the system prompts force the model to use chain of thought reasoning to get better results. And therefore, Mary has 5 children in total. This is also correct. Now I'm going to ask some calculus. So I'm going to ask Claude to find the derivative of this function. So the function is f of x equal 4x cube minus 2x squared minus logarithm of x minus 3e to the 4x. Once again, the model is thinking step by step. So let's wait for the final answer. All right, so the final answer is 12x squared, which is correct, minus 4x, correct, plus 1 over x plus 12e to the 4x. Okay, this is also correct. This is not so surprising. Many models get this correctly, so this is pretty good. Now I'm going to ask the model to extract some data from a table and convert it to a JSON payload. So let me paste my data in here. So here I have a table with some people, some names, some ages, and a list of skills. And I'm asking the model to extract this data into a JSON payload with the following schema: name, age, and skills as a list. So let's see how the model does on that. Okay, so this is fine. The first item is correct, second item is correct, and the third item, all items are correct. So that's good job. Now I'm going to ask a final prompt. I'm going to ask the model to extract highlights from a news article and format it as a JSON payload. So here's a news article about some cat, and here's the JSON schema that I expect. So highlights and then a list of 3 highlights. Let's see how the model does on that. Okay, so the model is able to extract 3 highlights and format it correctly with the right JSON schema. Okay, so here is Claude 3, some very impressive results. Give it a try in the Anthropic Workbench. You can also check it out in the AirTrain Playground. We're going to add support for it very soon, probably next couple of days. So check it out at airtrain.ai. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.